Welcome to our first edition of the Cabot Today Show. I'm Maddie Sullivan.
And I'm JD Kirby.
We are very excited to air our first episode this year.
Here at CHTV, we've been working diligently to get this show out for you all.
To kick off our show, we go to CHTV's Cadence Counts, who introduces us to one of our students and her unique four-legged friend.
Service dogs are becoming more common in our world, and one student at Cabot High School has shown that.
When you are walking around Cabot High School, you may have seen people like Madison Wiley on campus. And where you see Maddie, you'll see her loyal companion nearby. Jackson is a 4-year-old Border Collie Lab mix and is a stress and anxiety relief animal for Maddie. She enlightened us with some information about how to behave around Jackson, along with other service animals, in public.
First off, don't come up running up and pet him because I never know what he will do. He won't bite you, ever, but he does get really excited and he will jump on you.
Maddie gives us some other examples about how to behave around Jackson in public.
Just don't make fun of him or me because that really hurts our feelings. And always ask to pet. And that's mostly it. There's nothing really else you can do other than just ignore him. Act like he's nothing.
Madison and Jackson have had a great relationship and a strong bond for multiple years.
Earlier this year, I had found out that I have borderline personality disorder along with being bipolar, and the feeling of being alone sucks. So I always wanted a companion with me all the time, and I never really had a full-on trained dog, and I was like, this is perfect. I could get a dog. So I looked and searched for a dog, and I finally found him on Paws in Prison. He's 4.
Maddie says when she got Jackson, he was already basic and obedience trained. Ever since then, they've been inseparable. I'm Cadence Counts with CHTV. Back to you.
Thank you, Cadence.
Next, we turn to Kat Irvin and our Cabot High School Stagecraft crew as they prepare for this year's first musical, Freaky Friday.
The theater department will premiere its production of Freaky Friday the Musical later this fall, but even now preparations are underway.
Stagecraft is all the unseen work and the creation of the show that makes a show come to life. Every year, Stagecraft builds the sets for plays at Cabot High School. This year is going to be fascinating for Stagecraft as the Cabot High School theater program presents Freaky Friday the Musical. This year, students are working hard to build and design the sets.
Cleaning up and building that stage and just like working up to the production on it and off of it was really rewarding to me.
There are a total of 58 students within 3 advanced classes that build and paint the sets, and each year they take on the task of creating something unforgettable for students. For students working behind the scenes at theater, going unnoticed is the goal.
Whenever we're doing our job right, we belong in the shadows because it means that we've done everything that we should. We don't do this to get noticed. We do this so that the play or musical runs smoothly without us getting recognition. So if we've done everything that we're supposed to do, people won't notice us, and that's a good thing.
2 seniors in the 3rd year of Stagecraft agreed to talk about what they do and what inspired them to join Stagecraft. Mark Ledbetter has been on the stage more than he has been off of it. He juggles responsibilities between theater and Stagecraft.
For Stagecraft, I don't have one of the biggest roles this year. I wanted to be more backstage than on stage, so I've taken smaller parts in theater, and I wanted to be part of Run Crew, which is where I move set pieces on and off stage.
Olivia Schinker found her passion by joining Stagecraft in her sophomore year without realizing that this was something that she had wanted to do.
I think it's a really great decision because I've kind of decided that I want to do this in the future, and I had no idea like this is what I wanted to go into. And so understanding that about myself and learning that has been really rewarding.
Once the play comes around, everyone will be amazed by how hard the students in Stagecraft and theater have worked since the first day of school. I'm Kat Irvin for the Cabot Today Show. Back to you.
Thank you, Kat.
The Freaky Friday production is just one of many new things here at Cabot High School. This fall, we have a new sophomore class and, of course, new faculty members. Alex Davidson introduces us to one of our newest teachers.
Each new school year, there are always a handful of new teachers joining the ranks of the Cabot School District, one of which comes straight from local law enforcement, bringing a hands-on approach to the classroom.
This is criminal justice, taught by one of our newest teachers at the Cabot High School, Mr. Graham. After Mr. C's retirement, Mr. Graham took up to the occasion and led the class.
I've been doing as an officer for a long time, and I felt like I can bring a lot of experiences to you guys and make it more, practical.
Mr. Graham has an extensive background in multiple fields of protecting and serving, which makes him a great candidate for teaching the class.
17 years as a Cabot police officer, 6 years military prior to that, FBI graduate in 2018.
Only 8 weeks into the school year, and they've already done so much.
We learned the 10 codes, we've learned rules, procedures, what to do in school shooter events, and now we're learning traffic stops.
He's setting up crime scenes and teaching us how to take crime scene photos, and then he's showing us the proper procedure for pulling people over if you are a cop, and showing us how to react if you see something, not to overreact.
I'm Alex Davison from Cabot Today. Back to you.
Thanks, Alex.
This year, the Cabot Band has been hard at work with their marching show, The Floor is Lava. Even though they have been traveling to other schools to compete, the Cabot Band held their own competition last month. Clayton Baxter has more on the story.
Last month, the Cabot Band held their 20th annual Cabot Marching Invitation. The band gives out an open invitation allowing all bands in the state to perform on our campus. 27 bands attended this year's competition, which is the biggest turnout they've had since the start of the event.
5 judges were in attendance, basing their scores on the music and visual performances.
After all the performances were finished, all the bands got a rating. The ratings were categorized by music, visual, percussion, and color guard and overall effect.
Divided by size, each band was put into a class and received awards according to their categorical and total ratings. Band members from all over the region sit in the stands, watch each other perform, and cheer each other on.
Even though it's a competition season, everyone's favorite part is watching each other and seeing the variety on the field.
My favorite part about the Cabot Invitational, there's 2 things. One, all of the Cabot students get to bring their favorite food item, their favorite treat, their favorite party item for food, and we put all the food up in the judges area, and we get to basically eat all day. So that's one of my favorite parts. And then my second favorite part is we get to watch all the different bands from around the state. So all the students get to sit and watch, everybody gets to sit and watch all the different bands from around the state.
Reporting for Cabot Today, I'm Clayton Baxter. Back to you.
Thank you, Clayton.
Staying on campus, it's been a busy year already for our JROTC. The cadets have either been presenting colors at football games or practicing drill sequences. This semester, they have created lifelong lasting memorabilia.
Since school started this semester, big things have been happening with JROTC. On September 10th, our very own Cabot cadet created a coin design that will have a lasting impact on this program.
Most people at Cabot High see Hunter Griega as just another 11th grade student, but what he has done will have a huge impact on the history of the Cabot JROTC program. Hunter created a coin design that represents every Cabot cadet's membership in the program.
So the challenge coin is a military tradition dating back to World War I. It was used to help identify POWs and help save lives. It's a tradition now that you give it to as a ceremony.
The coin design was presented at a September ceremony where Superintendent Dr. Tony Thurman chose the 3-digit number 007, signifying the year 2007 when he joined the Cabot School District. Principal Mr. Hawkins chose the number 74, the number on his high school uniform. The design was all Hunter's idea.
Designing mine, I put some basic school symbols to the Cabot Panther, and then I also put the state of Arkansas, and then the C-130, which is infamous to the Little Rock Air Force Base, which is the largest C-130 base in the States. And then we put our 3 core values of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do.
Oh, I'm so glad that Garriga's coin got picked. I personally think that he had the best design. He had like the colors and everything like spot on. He put everything on there that we needed, everything that we thought looked really good.
Thank you, Austin.
We now take it to Amber Marston, who has an overview of the 9/11 Memorial hosted by our JROTC early this September.
This year marks the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and once again, the students of Cabot High School have done their part to honor and remember those who have lost their lives during this tragic event.
While services like this one are usually coordinated by the people who have first-hand experience, the students at Cabot High School have decided to teach their peers about the importance of this event.
I don't think that they'll have a full appreciation of what happened that day unless you were there, unless you lived through it and experienced it. You can watch the videos, you can watch the TVs, you can watch the news stories and you know, the documentaries, but having not been there, I think it's just like any other event in history.
Our nation is starting to realize that without remembering September 11th every year, newer generations will not be introduced to a huge culture shift in history.
I think that if we don't do celebrations like this and have remembrances, I think that it will fade into history, especially with us recently pulling out of Afghanistan. It's going to grow more and more a distant memory. So I think that I think that the younger generations understand when you tell them 3,000 people died, but I don't think they understand how it impacted the country. I don't think they understand the emotions and what it was like when America was drawn together for probably more than it's ever been drawn together in the history of America.
Not only have adults realized this, but students too. Inspired by our history, Cadet Bree Rammel, one of the hosts and speakers at the memorial, decided to take matters into her own hands.
It inspired me to host this memorial to show everybody that ROTC cares, and we wanted to show that we care about 9/11, and we wanted everybody else to be a part of 9/11 with us.
The JROTC students collaborated with the administration and the community to create a memorial event for all students. Carrying on the message of remembering, Mayor Ken Kincaid spoke at the event, delivering ideas on how to make progress with the information we acquired.
I think we gain the ability to remember history and use that history to go forward as a community. And like I said, to remember that we need to be unified to do great things together. If we're not unified, we can't get through something. And I'm proud that Cabot tries to take care of each other, but we need to continue to be unified.
A day of remembrance, a day of sacrifice, and a day to get better. September 11th symbolizes different things for many Americans, but there's always one message we can send.
I hope the message this sends is that we will never forget. We will never forget the sacrifices laid down of our men and women that day and since.
We try to hold on to that sense of oneness, that less divided environment that we were in 20 years ago when as a nation we became one nation.
I'm Amber Marston reporting for the Cabot Today Show. Back to you.
Thank you, Amber.
Finally, to wrap up things for our first edition of Cabot Today Show, we now go to Chase Hum for a recap of another event earlier this fall.
One of the nation's biggest student-led events happened here at Cabot High School during late September. It was another great turnout for this year's See You at the Pole. On the 22nd of September, the Just Club hosted the annual See You at the Pole prayer. Students gathered around at the flagpole before school to worship God together for safety and happiness.
So this morning we have See You at the Pole. It's when churches, students from all over the community come to pray at the flagpole that you go to school at, to pray for the school, for the community, the upcoming school year. And it's just a good chance for all of us to get together that, we don't normally see, but we have the same beliefs. It's just a good way for us to fellowship together.
It means a lot to me. I did See You at the Pole when I was in high school. It's a good way to bring God on the campus and make sure that the students are being integrated with their friends that are believers and strengthening that bond.
Members of the Just Club have invited the entire school to participate. The annual gathering was looked forward to by many students from its warmth and welcoming. I'm Chase Hum, reporting for CHTV. Now back to you.
Thank you, Chase.
Thank you for watching our first edition of Cabot Today.
Have a great day, Cabot High.